That's good. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to tonight's webinar on Networking 777. It's great to have you online, and I can see a number of people already coming on, which is really great. We have one of the largest webinars, actually, I think we've done tonight. So obviously the topic is very popular. So it is going directly to those that have registered, and we're also going on Facebook Live tonight. So for those that have registered, welcome. It's great to have you here. You will see during the webinar, feel free to please chat me, and at different stages I'll check that and answer any questions that you may have. Well, I'm going to get to tonight and start to share the screen. We have I have a packed webinar tonight. Let me just tell you that, and let me just make sure this is taking, okay, so there we go. So we're talking about Networking 777 tonight. For those that are people of faith will know that the number of 7 is a perfect number, so it's really going to the higher level. And really that's what we've called tonight, taking networking to a higher level. Some of you know who I am, some of you don't. Actually, I think there's a lot on the webinar tonight that I don't know you personally. So who am I? So my name is Wes Leake, and I am the owner and CEO and people builder at Business Blessings. So Business Blessings is all about equipping you to be who God's called you to be in business. And we've been going now since 2006. We do a lot of one-on-one coaching. We have a small contract with TAFE Small Business Solutions Queensland to deliver small business training, which I really enjoy doing that in the coaching part. So you also know that we have a program called Life Languages, which actually helps people to understand who they are and help them to become very self-aware, and helps them in their communication style. And that's just to name a few of some of the things that we've done. So why am I doing this webinar tonight? And I want to give you some background to this, because one of the issues that I've been very conscious of since 2006, as I have been working with people in business, is that it's one that a lot of business people don't have a lot of friends, and that's a very sad thing to see. And it's actually not a common thing, particularly about amongst men as they get older too. They tend to not develop close relationships. I've had a number of conversations with people in recent weeks about the fact that when they're starting out a business, they really need to get out there and network. You can't just stay in your office and build a business. You need to get out there and do that. But some people don't know how to do that. You may be very good on technical skills, but not necessarily good on relationship building skills. So tonight we're going to go through and address some of those issues. Also came for some of you on this webinar tonight have participated in our Breakthrough to Success month, which we did last month. And we'll recall that we had a guest speaker called Bob Bodine, who was the CEO of Eastman and Bodine, #1 sports and entertainment recruiter in the US. So a lot of the material that we're going to go through tonight is from his material, but some of it is not, and I'm going to tell some stories and things tonight as well. And it really highlighted to me that we need to be changing the way that we're doing networking. So during the night, please, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for a moment. So down the bottom, you'll see that there is a chat box, so go through and chat. There's a Q&A box. I prefer you to use the chat box. You can chat to each other as the whole and doing that. Feel free to ask questions. Again, tonight's webinar is about you, not about me in doing that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to sharing. So if there's any questions or anything to start with, we might just get going. Okay, let me go back and share the screen. Okay, so here's a quote for you to get going. A friend is someone who knows the song in your heart and can sing it back to you when you've forgotten the words. And unfortunately, when we're in business, sometimes we forget the song that's in our heart. We forget the reason why we're in business. We forget, things happen. Things can isolate us when things are not going the way we want to go, or stuff is going wrong. It makes it very difficult for us. And that's when we need to have some close friends around. So a friend is someone who knows the song in your heart and can sing it back to you when you have forgotten the words. And what first? So some questions to start with tonight. What if each of us has been given key relationships in our lives that have been specifically placed there to help us in ways that we never even imagined about? What if that's the case? The next question for you, what if those special people were not just happenstance acquaintances, but were instead strategic relationships meant to be actively involved in helping us to find that place in life we always dreamed about? And what if the real problem of finding your dream or achieving that goal isn't about who you don't know, but whom you've neglected? And sad to say, that happens over the years as we get involved in business, that we can tend to neglect our friendships and our relationships. Look, I'll be honest, I know I've done that myself. And it's been funny that as I've reconnected with those people, and we'll talk about reconnection tonight, that those things have grown and developed as well. So you need to be prepared to take everything that you've heard and learned about networking, just throw it out. That's right, throw it out, jettison it, dump it, expel it, cast it out. In other words, forget about it. Networking, we know it is crap and it doesn't work. How many of you here, and I'll ask this question and maybe you can put it in the chat box, how many of you have been to networking events, or you've tried networking and you find that it's been very difficult, or you've struggled with it, or it hasn't achieved what you would like it to achieve? So why don't you, I know you could raise your hands or let me know, put in the chat box. How many of you struggle with networking? How many of you find it very difficult? You don't know maybe where to start or what to do, how to build those relationships with people doing that. And if you're like, while people say that I'm a great networker and out there, to be honest, I find it difficult. That I've really got to step out of my comfort zone when it takes to build relationships, picking up the phone, going and meeting people, in doing that. But you know what? Lots of coffees. Matthew, you're right. You're not sure which one would yield the right required results, and that's like, how do we know who's the one? And sometimes it is a bit hit and miss. But I want to talk to you tonight about the fact that it's about relationship building, and that's the key to it. Okay, let me go back and share the screen with you. So I'll go back and forth from it. So we're going to talk about a very simple strategy tonight, but it's going to take a leap of faith. And let me see if I can play this video. Some of you may be familiar with this. This comes from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
So there you go.
And networking can be a bit like that, is that there's a hidden bridge to take us from where we are to where we would like to go. And I don't know whether you're an Indiana Jones fan, and as I've mentioned that clip to a number of people over the last couple of weeks, I remembered it. And you know, it's when we start off something new, when we're going places with it, we've got to take a leap of faith. And so often we think that we may not, we know we may be going to jump and we're just going to fall. But actually, so often when you pick up the phone or when you go out and meet people and connect with people, then you find that actually you're stepping out onto something solid. And I like the fact that Indiana Jones throws the dirt back over the bridge so that others can follow in the path. And that's what it's about as well. So tonight, what are we going to look at? We're going to learn about the hidden bridge that you're going to lead across. We're going to start to reveal the map. In fact, as I was preparing this, you're going to see that I've got so much in here, and I've been working up to the last minute here, thinking, what do I cut in, what do I put out, and as you look and see, I've probably given you way too much information in this webinar tonight, but we'll see how you go. So we're going to discover who connects with your who, and we're going to talk about that. And along the way, hopefully, you're going to see some passion reignited, and we're going to tonight introduce you to our month of networking 777, because we're really only going to start the journey tonight. And I'm going to invite you to join us for a journey over the balance of the month tonight. So I'm going to ask the question, who are your who friends? So I want to ask you to take a moment and think about your friends today. And who they are. And I'm going to take you through and ask you some questions. You know, today we have a lot of friends on Facebook. I think I alone have over 2,500 friends. And I say that not to boast, but to say that's a lot of people. And my wife says, do you know all these people? And they're going, well, yeah, you know, I've met a number of them, but there's a number of them that I don't know. But if we were to actually work through those people, who are the ones who are our really close friends? And I'm going to take you through some stuff now to ask that. So what is a who friend? So a who friend will call a halt to fearful thinking. And some of you tonight are in that place. You're in a fearful place. They'll call a halt to fearful thinking by insisting you stop listening to your own negative self-talk in the face of those lies that will start speaking truth. The truth about your value and your uniqueness, the truth about your accomplishments, and the truth about the value of your dreams and goals. Now, for those who are people of faith will know that there is a devil who goes around like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. And one of the ways he does it is it's like this little voice that's talking inside, you're no good, you're no good, no, you're no good, you're going to fail, you're going to fail, you're going to fail. That's not going to work, that's not going to work, that's not going to work. So one of the things that I find is that we need people who are God with skin on, just to speak into our lives, to stop those lies in going forward. One of the things that we've been concentrating on a lot in the past year is asking people the question, what are the lies that you've been believing? And I want to ask you that tonight. What are the lies that you've been believing that have been stopping you from moving forward and taking you into a whole new level of things? What are the lies that you've been believing? And it's good, you know, to have friends around who can actually call that out, and they can start to speak truth in you, to speak about, because each one of us is unique. Each one of us has very God-given gifts that we can work with and unpack. So there you go. That is one of your who friends. So a who friend will intercept you on the dark place you've taken and redirect your steps back to the path of light. They know you, they care for you, and they remind you that you have a future and a hope. It's people like, I am very grateful for people I've had in my life that was walking down a path, don't go there, don't go there, don't do that. People who you can go to and talk about your dreams, talk about your visions, and they'll either confirm that or say no. And I've got a situation right at the moment where we've been considering a change to something and doing something, and it's been about who are the people that I can go to and talk to about those kind of things. A who friend knows your true identity and will not let you forget it. And that's very key. And sometimes we forget. what our true identity is, and we forget that, and we wander all over the place. So I want you to take a moment and think about who your who friends are tonight, and I just pray that names will start to come and pop into your mind. In fact, there may be names tonight, and we're going to talk about this, who you need to reconnect with tonight. So I just ask for that spirit of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding just to be released in that. And I call your spirit to attention right now to hear what the Father has to speak to you about tonight. Some of you may love Peanuts and Charlie Brown, and so this is a cartoon I got there. So is maybe I can put it another way. Life, Charlie Brown, is like a deck chair. Like a what? Have you ever been on a cruise ship? Passengers open up these canvas deck chairs so they can sit in the sun. Some people place their chairs facing the rear of the ship so they can see where they've been. Other people place their chairs forward. They want to see where they're going. On the cruise ship of life, Charlie Brown, which way is your deck chair facing? So it's a question for you tonight. Which way is your deck chair facing? And Charlie Brown answers, I've never been able to get one unfolded. And some of you may be feeling like that tonight. They may be feeling like you've never been able to get your deck chair unfolded. Okay, let's go. So we can believe a big lie. So our current position disqualifies us from achieving our dreams or goals. So I don't know what your current position is, because we've got a lot of people on the webinar tonight and a lot of people listening, and you may be all in different situations. You may have no money in the bank. You may have a lot of money in the bank. You may have no ideas. You may have a lot of ideas. You may have no relationships. You may have not a lot of relationships. But one of the things that I've noticed with people is they feel like that they don't have what it takes to move forward, and that's a lie. I just want to say to you, your current position does not disqualify you from achieving your dreams and your goals. Some of you may be facing bankruptcy tonight. I don't know, but you know what? If you are, and if you go bankrupt, you're in the company of some of the greatest men and women in the world who have lost all and been able to move forward. One of the things that I do know, though, that when you have a financial strife or financial difficulty, it's about actually it's like God's putting a stop in place, saying, okay, let's reevaluate things, because I want to take you either on a different direction, or I want to cause you to do different things. One of the things I've been conscious about this year, that this year is a year of new things. Isaiah talks about, behold, I'm doing a new thing. And one of the things when you're in a situation of the new is that you actually have to let go of the past. You've got to let go of the way that you've been doing things in the past. And sometimes I've been trying to go out and do things, and I'm finding it's not working or not happening. And it's like God saying to me, you know what, Wes, I told you it's a new day. I told you it's a new day. Would you stop doing things the old way? And so that's the thing. So we've been implementing a lot of new things. Has it been making me feel very uncomfortable? Absolutely. It's been scaring me half to death at times. But you know what? As we've gone out and done it and tried things new, we've seen some great results happening. So I just want to release that to you tonight, that you become people who are not afraid to step out and try something new, not afraid to break out of your comfort zone or your cocoon. Some of you have been cocooned so long, and God just wants to break that open tonight and allow you to set free and fly like a butterfly, like the true butterfly that you are. So again, the question for you tonight is, what lie have you been believing, and what truth does God now want to speak to you about? So question for you, lots of questions tonight. What am I doing right now to steer my life in the direction of the future I truly desire? Some of us are just caught in this treadmill going round and 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 round. But we need to take that time to, you know what, let's stop for a minute and just say, okay, what am I doing right now that's going to steer my life in the direction of the future I truly desire? What do you need to stop doing, and what do you need to start doing? And that's a very key question to ask. You know, we are not designed to do this alone. Ecclesiastes talks about the two are better than one because they have a good return for their work. One falls down, his friend can help him up, but pity the man who falls and has no one to help him up. And this is often, I see this in business, particularly with solopreneurs. They're there by themselves. They don't have anyone to help them in doing that. And we're going to talk a bit about this tonight. There's another scripture that I didn't put in here that I was thinking about doing it. One can put 1,000 to flight, but two can put 10,000 to flight. Is that when comes a working together, when people start to work together and there's synergy with that, we go from putting 1,000 to flight to 10,000 to flight. And that's what can happen. And that's one of the reasons why tonight we want to talk about building networks so that there's that multiplication that takes place. But we need wisdom, and a wise person understands that trying to do it alone is a sure way to run into insurmountable obstacles and costly mistakes. Now, some of you have tried to do it with others. I know that you've struggled with that. You've partnered with the wrong people over time. And so tonight I'm going to go through and ask you a series of questions so that it'll help you to discern who are those people that actually would suit you in doing business with. So right now, I just ask that God would just, in James it talks about if we lack wisdom, that we need to ask the Father and He can give us wisdom. So Father, right now, I ask for that wisdom to come, that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to come, that God, you'd show who are the right people to work with and who are the ones not to work with, in Jesus' name. Sorry, for those who get to know me, I kind of stop a bit like that and just go and move in and out of things in the Spirit there. And in fact, I think tonight is all about the Spirit, because God really wants to talk to you, really wants to unlock some things in you. Some of you have been so locked up, so frightened, so afraid even to pick up the phone and talk to people and things like that. So let's step out of that tonight. Let's break through that. And I pray that breakthrough will come. And as we've been doing this last Breakthrough to Success month, I just seeing release after release after release for that. And I just pray that would continue to happen as we move forward. Okay, so we're going to talk about 3 R's: to remember, to reach out, and reconnect. So 3 R's are to remember, to reach out, and to reconnect. So remember, so you already know everyone you need to know to get where you want to go. There's some of you thinking, where's you crazy? Are you sure? You already know everyone you need to know to get where you want to go. But a practical example of this. So today I've got a project that I'm working on at the moment that requires me to really step out of my comfort zone. It required me to update a document. And I wasn't sure who to do. Like, one thing I knew is that I couldn't do it. It's funny. I just sat at my desk today and said, God, I need to do this. I don't know who to ask and what to ask them. And then, but Lord, I know that you do. So who is that person? It was funny that I was just sitting down at my desk here and said, okay, God, who is that person? And a name just dropped directly into my mind, because I'd already tried. I did a LinkedIn search to find out who fit in that category, and I looked at all the names, and just none of them had resonated me. And I was thinking, I didn't know where to go. But all of a sudden, this name dropped into my mind, and actually, so I messaged her on Facebook, because I normally talk to her on Facebook, and said, hey, Peter was the name. Hey, Peter, do you know anyone who does this? And as we got talking, actually, she's the one who does this. And so I was able to immediately send through the document, and she said, I'll get back to you tomorrow. But lo and behold, within a couple of hours, it was back to me. It was done. It was in a format that was right and correct. I've still got some work to do on it, but now I've got 2 pages of guidelines to follow from her as to what to do and how to do it. See, can you see that this is one of the things that I want to talk to you about too, is that flowing of the Spirit in this, that sometimes we forget who's actually in our network, and we need to step and ask God, who are those people who can step in and help us right now? And it's not just about gaining position, power, and money. If so, you're headed in the wrong direction. So often we're going for the power, we're going for the position, we're going for the money. It's not about that. And that's hard too, particularly when you've got bills to pay and things to do. it's a focus on, but I've got to do this to get that money in, and if that doesn't happen, this is going to go wrong, and all this is going to all fall apart, and da 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 da, and your head's going around and around and around and around and around. But we've got to remember that it's not about that. It's not about that. We've got to avoid the bunkering. So bunkering is when you try to sneak away and hide while hoping everything would just work out. Who's been there? Hands up. Yep, I've been there. You want to just hide. You know, you're struggling with something. You don't know what to do, how to do it. You're coming across like today. Like, I knew I had to do this. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know the best way to present it. Potentially, it's going to bring in a significant amount of money for us, but I didn't know what to do with it. But if I hadn't have reached out, and I hadn't have reached out quickly, you know, it's there. So we not to be afraid to reach out. And you can fool yourself into believing that you can manage your crisis alone. And that's the thing, you know, how often do we send ourselves down into a pit of depression because we don't actually reach out and talk to others and help them, and give the ability to help others. You know, sometimes I've got myself in such a tither about something, that all because I haven't reached out and touched somebody, and, you know, reached out and asked someone a question or asked someone for help in doing that. But when you do that, it's amazing. It's sometimes some of the things that are so big in our minds, actually we discover it's such a little thing. And I can remember once I had something and I thought, oh, we're going to have to do this, this, and this, and this, and I'd stewed on it for weeks. And then I thought, oh, heaven's sakes, I've just got to phone someone. I phoned them and they said, oh, for heaven's sakes, we just do this, this, and this, and it's all done, and it's gone. And I think, oh, why did I so stress about that? So we've got to, this is something that we've got to do ourselves. We've got to avoid that bunkering down and that bunkering mentality. So, and this is an interesting one. You got to understand the source of favor. So, like a number of you from Christian circles would know, we've got to, you know, it's about praying for favor. May the Lord of grace and favor and things come on you. But what is favor? So let's have a look about favor. So favor is simply what happens when someone you know is willing to help you accomplish things you normally couldn't do for yourself. Isn't that powerful? Favor is simply what happens when someone you know is willing to help you accomplish things you normally can't do for yourself. So one, there's a lot that I can't do, and I've had to come to that place of admit that, and maybe you guys need to come to that place and admit that as well. But when there's favor, it's like you're stepping in and someone just goes before you and opens the door for you. It may be someone giving you an objective. They're speaking about you. It's a greased introduction. So it's not an introduction where money, you know, changes hand, but it is an introduction where someone rings up and say, this is the person that you need to speak to. Or it's a thunderous recommendation to a close friend. And guess what? You're in. It's the end of the conversation. You know, it's like a number of times that when I've been in different work situations, I was thinking about this today, that, you know, the boss's friend has sat down with the boss and said, you need to do this, this, and this, and this, and I'll solve the problem. And then they come to you as a staff member to implement and said, you've got to do this. And you're thinking, man, I've been talking to you months about doing that, but but now your friend talks to you about it, and that's the way to go. It's funny, isn't it, how that kind of thing works out? But a friend, someone who pours favor on you, can just open doors in ways that you can never dream or imagine about. We're going to talk about anybody or somebody. So you just don't want anybody to be connected with. Anybody doesn't really care about your dreams, so don't waste your time asking them for help. And again, this is really where we need wisdom. Anybody isn't reliable. They usually give you advice that's convenient and helpful for them, but rather than useful to you. And anyone doesn't know you personally, so they're too busy with their own agenda to stop and help you. Now, I really took a moment to think about this as I was putting this together, because I thought, how many times have I been anybody to somebody? Like, how many times have I been this anybody? You know, I get a lot of phone calls from people asking questions or doing things, and it's the I was thinking, I've been anybody a lot. I've been anybody a real lot to some people, but it's different when it's a somebody. So think about this somebody. Somebody really doesn't care about you or your dream and has the power and willingness to help you. Somebody is reliable. They're willing to take the time and effort to mentor, guide, and assist you in every way they can. Somebody knows you personally, likes you, and will make the time to help you. How many times that you know the difference between an anybody and a somebody, and I know that right now different names are flowing through your mind. You know who the anybody's are in your life, and you know who the somebodies are. You know who the somebodies are that can take your dream and your vision and take it to a whole new level, a whole new place. So a true friend is someone who thinks you're a good egg, even though he knows you are slightly cracked. And actually, you know what I'd like you to do is, if you can, grab a sheet of paper, because as we go through this, Bob Budden in his book talks about these different 12 things about who a true friend is. And as we go through this, I want you to start to think about the names of the people who are true friends to you, and to start to write them down, because afterwards I'm going to ask you some questions about this. And this is part of, during the networking 777 month, I'm going to actually be taking you through some worksheets of things that you need to complete. So tonight I thought we'd just kind of ease you into it. And so if you can grab a sheet of paper and or maybe on your phone or whatever, and start to write down the names of friends. As we go through these 12 different triggers, the names of people that are going to come to mind. So let's start this journey, and to do that, so I just pray right now that God would just release those names to you as we go. So a true friend gives unconditional love. Is someone who simply loves you for no good reason, no strings attached. They do their best to help you just because. So I was just thinking, that's my dogs. They love me just because, do that. But who are those people who love you unconditionally? And that may be your spouse. I hope it's your spouse. Somebody who knows no matter what you do, no matter how you stuff up, no matter you go like extreme, no matter if you murder someone, they'll still stand by you. They're still, they may not, they'll tell you that you've done wrong, but they'll still stand by you and stick by you. In doing that, no friends attached just because. So who is that person for you? So a true friend will try to help you right now. When you call for help, the answer is yes, and the acquaintance merely wishes you well. Who is the one that when you pick up the phone and phone them or text them and say, help, I really need help, they're there on the doorstep, either straight away or very quickly. They'll do whatever it takes for you to help and to do that kind of thing. And you know what? There's different times in my life where I've had to pick up the phone, and sometimes I just haven't been able to say the words that were needed on the phone. And some people say I cry at the drop of the hat, but it's just, you get on the phone and I've said their name and just broken down in tears. And next minute they say, I'm coming over right now. And then they've come over. It's that kind of friend. And some of you right now, you need that kind of friend, because you're in that place of tears and you're in that place of, I don't know what to do anymore. But I just pray that right now, God will give you the name of that friend who you can pick up the phone and call right now, who will help you in that moment. A true friend wants you to succeed and seeks to empower you as you pursue your dream. They're the ones that you can share the crazy ideas with. And you know what? They want you to succeed. They want to empower you. They encourage you and move you forward. A true friend is the chisel helping you to carve away those areas in your life that hold you back from fulfilling your dream. I was meeting with a client yesterday, and he was going around the bush, and I thought, let's stop this. And actually, it's happened a couple of times lately. Just, a true friend will just stop and say, for heaven's sake, stop what you're saying. Let's get to the core of the issue. They cut away the fluff. They know when you're beating around the bush. They know when you're taking the piss out of them, so to speak. And excuse my French in saying that, but you understand what I'm saying. A true friend holds you accountable to your stated goals. When are you going to do that? They have earned all the access backstage pass to your life. Who are the ones that allow you in? Who are the ones that when you speak to about your dreams and your visions and the plan and steps that you have to them, that they can get in and hold you accountable? And we've said this before, was at the start, a true friend is someone who knows the song in your heart and can sing it back to you when you've forgotten the words. I know some of you on the call tonight, on the webinar tonight, and going to watch the replay of this, you have lost the song in your heart. That it's just been driven out of you. You've faced barrier after barrier after barrier, just situation after situation after situation, and you've lost that song in your heart. You know, I think God wants to play it back to you tonight. And often God uses someone with skin on to do that. So Lord, I just pray that right now that song in people's hearts will be restored tonight. Lord, you know the best way to do that, given each one's personality. So we pray that it happens in Jesus' name. A true friend has no ulterior motive and is always loyal, always on your side, always true blue all the way through. You know that. You know they're always loyal. They'll stand beside you through like crazy times. They're there, they're loyal. A true friend is a trusted secret keeper, knows you well enough to know your secrets and keep them, and you know their character well enough to know they will never betray you. You know, I think this is, you know, I've got someone in my life that I'm meeting with on a weekly basis at the moment, and it's very helpful to know that what you share with them doesn't go anywhere. Because let's face it, we all struggle with things at different times that we don't know what to do or how to do it or how to happen or what to happen in doing that. But you know what? Jesus said that when we confess our sins to one another, that there is a forgiveness thing that takes place. You know, we can absolve someone of that. And sometimes you just need someone to say, you know what? I'm struggling in this area. I'm struggling, I don't know, with an addiction to gaming, addiction to alcohol, addiction to pornography, addiction to whatever it is. And you don't need that person to then go out and blab that to other people. You need that person to keep that confidence and to know that they'll never tell another soul, unless, of course, you know, you're in a situation that's going to harm yourself and they need to step out and tell someone to come in and break that through. Or they may not know the answer to helping you, but they know someone who has. And, you know, the old story, you know, I've got a friend. You know, it's a very powerful story with Noah after the ark. He got out and he had a bit too much to drink and was found naked by one of his sons. And his son went and told the other two sons and said, "Hey, guess what? Dad's there and he's naked." But the other two sons didn't go in to check him out and laugh at him. You know, they went in and they covered it up. And that's what a true friend does. You know, we've got to learn to cover up. And it's not to cover up to ignore, but it's to cover up to solve. And that's two very different things. We need to be ones who can step in and cover up, step in and help to resolve that matter for a friend and to move forward from there. A true friend has forged an indelible impression on your heart and soul that has altered your life in a positive way. There's a number of people that have spoken into my life that have caused that change to take place. A true friend brings out the best in you and shares your core values, the important pillars that support your life. A true friend will go out of their way to do things for you that would never cross the mind of a mere acquaintance. And you know that. You know that for when you're friends with others. A true friend doesn't need you to be anybody other than who you are, but is glad to see you become something more. You know, they're the ones that just, you can rock up and like they can knock on the door and it doesn't matter what you're wearing, you know, old sloppy joes or whatever, you know, they still love you, they still care for you. They're not going to comment about the state of the house or whatever it's in. They just love you for who you are. So a practical exercise. So I asked you, so, you know, I'm conscious, man, I've got a lot to cover tonight. Can you list 3 friends who fit that category? Can right now you list 3 friends down to do that? Think about that. Think about who are 3 friends. Do that. Next one. The next question I want to think. Some of you are struggling with that right now. I just want to encourage you not to struggle with that. You know, it is actually a sad fact that speaking to someone today, actually, when the floods in Brisbane occurred, you know, we've had 2 sets of floods in the last, what were they, 2011, 2013, somewhere around there. But the research they did showed that actually a lot of people didn't actually have neighbors that they felt they could go to just to lift things up or do things like that, because they hadn't built that close relationship and that close friendship with others. To be a friend, to have friends, you need to be a friend. So I want to challenge you tonight. In what way are you a friend to others? In what way are you a friend to others? I love this quote. A friend is one who walks in when others walk out. So other questions to think about, and I know I'm going through a lot of questions and piling a lot of questions on you, and you're probably not going to have time to unpack all these. And again, that's why we're going to do a whole month on networking. So like, think about this. Who has influenced and affected you by their friendship over the years? Who calls you regularly to see how you're doing? Who invests in your friendship? Who picks up when you're down and out? Who picks you up when you're down and out? Who you trust in times of crisis? Who keeps you accountable? And who celebrates you? So there's some questions to ask, to think about, to ponder on, to reflect on. Do you have friends whose number comes up the call ID and you wrestle with whether or not to answer that call? Oh, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? So we're going to talk about the 140 strategy, and we really don't have time to unpack this tonight, but I want to just introduce it to you and start to get that process happening, because it's really going to form the basis of what we're going to look at as we move forward tonight in doing that as well. So it's the 140 strategy is a nuts and bolts strategy that centers networking back to where it's meant to be. It's surrounded by one's closest friends and a concentric circle of friends. Now, one of the things that I'm conscious of, particularly those in church circles, is that we don't talk about business to our friends. You know, we kind of like, it's like we go out there and we make a list of people that we need to contact and strategically work with. And yes, that's true. You need to do that. But one of the things I want to bring out tonight is actually, we need to also talk to our the ones that are in the know, the ones that are closest to us, because they really have the key and understanding, and they're the ones who can lead us to other people. Like, we've got, and I won't use names here, but we've got a big name coming to town for a major event coming up, and he's a strong Christian. I've been thinking I'd love to get him to do a networking event with, and I thought, how on earth am I going to contact him? And I was thinking, surely someone in one of my networks knows who this person is, even though he lives in another country, and, you know, doing that. And there's someone I thought did, but they didn't. And I can remember I was just praying this day, God, who is the person who knows this person? And blow me down flat, we had someone, a friend of ours, was coming to stay with us on the weekend, and I just happened to ask him in person, by any chance, do you know this person? He said, of course. So-and-so knows this person. So immediately I was in connection with him, and we've been able to start that process of connecting that person. Who are the people in your network who are connected to other people? We talk about the 6 degrees of separation, you know, and LinkedIn is an amazing tool. And during some of the networking nights, I'm going to talk about a strategy that I use on LinkedIn. In fact, actually, just as I was going through the promo for this, I realized I've connected with about 150 new people over the last 2 to 3 months in just this little strategy that I've been using on LinkedIn. And it's really started a lot of conversations. In fact, some of you are on here tonight because of that. But who are the ones? So this is what we're talking about. I'm getting a bit off track here. So the 140 strategy is about 1 to 100 is who, 1 to 40 is what, and it's about connecting the dots to success. Now, I have only got time to go through the headings of this tonight, which I really must apologize for, but yeah, I'm talking about how much detail going, but I did promise you that it would only be an hour, and I know I'm going to go a bit longer over that. So the who is more important than the what, and we've got to remember that the who is more important to the what. Many people still focus on the what and not the who, and there's a reason why you've been given the friends that you have. And most of us don't even think about our closest friends as possible resources when it comes to pursuing our dreams and goals. We've separated the personal from the professional, and we see that all the time. They separate the personal from the professional, but actually, like, and perhaps some of you might be in network marketing here tonight and on this, but but even more traditional businesses, it's been okay. But when you're in business, you need to shout it from the rooftops. This is what I do. And you know what? It's a recommendation of friends that say, look, if you're in this business thing, then talk to that person. And it's that recommendation that will open doors far beyond what you could ever dream or imagine about. So what if those special friends were meant to be a lot more important to you than you've ever thought, and vice versa? They were there to assist you in every phase of your life, the physical, mental, and spiritual. They were not taken for granted or compartmentalized. And some of this, we're very good, I think in the Western world, we're very good about putting, this is work, this is family, this is church, this is friends. It doesn't mix. But we are whole people. We're soul, mind, body, spirit. We need to be integrated. We need to be integrated in this area as well. So what if they were meant to be your support team, your personal marketing and PR team, your personal advisors, your business and life coaches, your mentors, your personal board of directors? What if those friends around you were meant to be those people? They could have helped you in your search for your dream, or gotten you or your child in the right school, helped you with finding the right doctor, the lawyer, nursing home, special tickets, you name it. How many times do you need to find someone? We do it quite regularly now on Facebook. You're looking for somebody, and so I need to know a good doctor in this area. So you put up on Facebook, and Facebook now has a recommendation there. But how many times do you, in other key things, sit down, look, I really don't know what to do or how to do this. And there's a pride thing there that we need to overcome, but we need to step past that and say, you know what? We just pick up the phone, sit down, go have a cup of coffee, go do something, reach out to who those are in your circle who can help you. So what if they were supposed to be linked and huddled with you all these years and you with them? As I look back at some of our friendships, some of them there have been through the major situations in our life. I think of Tanya, our lady, she catered for our engagement party, she catered for our wedding, she catered for my dad's funeral, she's catered for all the major events and things that I've done. And she's a good friend, and just recently she had a issue. She came around, we had a chat, we're talking on the phone and said, for heaven's sakes, just come around and sit down and talk. We came around, sit down and talked, and we gave her a strategy that actually sold and started to bring in money straight away. And now she's been doing that, and every week the money has been flowing. She was short $200 a week. She didn't know how she was going to do that, but the strategy came, and strategy's there and doing that. So it all came out of a conversation with a friendship and doing that. We need to be not afraid to reach out and ask and ask those questions. None of us are the fountain of all knowledge, and we need to go to those ones that can help. Now, sometimes they're going to have to charge for that. Yes, they are. But, let's not be embarrassed about that either and move forward. So who are the people in your world help you to find your purpose? They help you to define your objectives, to reach your dream, to fulfill your ambitions and achieve your goals. A lot of the focus that I've seen has been on us having to do this, but actually let's gather together. Let's sit down with our friends and family and allow them to speak into our life and just encourage us and move us forward. So let's break it down. So we've got the inner circle, 12, 3, and 1. 12 people, 3 people, and 1 person. I'm going to do that. We're going to talk about who, friends, allies, advocates, acquaintances, and fans. And I'm just going to, we're just going to skim over these just to give you some ideas. So who is the inner circle? So these are the 12 friends, 3 close and 1 best. And they're going to move from time to time. So who are they? Who are those people in your life? And this is what I want you to start to encourage you. Write down, who are the 12 people in your life? And how do you let them know that? I had a situation recently where I actually declared to someone, you know what? This is how I see you. And they were just blown away by that. And I can remember someone coming to me and said, you know what? I consider you to be a really close friend. And I was so oh my, that just did something for me. I want to encourage you tonight. Who is the ones that you actually need to reach out to tonight? And say to them, send them a text. And I'm going to give you an exercise of sending them a card after this. Reach out to them, speak to them. Say, this is who you are. Who are the people you have a heart connection with? they do float. These 12 are going to float because of different circumstances in your life. They're going to come out and go, but there's generally three that's close and one that's closest. Who are the people that you have with this? Like, give you some time to think and to work through those. Don't have too much time on the webinar tonight, but you can after that. So those who know who are the ones that know you're perfect and still love and accept you just the way you are? Thank goodness I have these people in my life. I stuff up totally, numerous times. There's some areas I'm stuffing up in the moment, but you know what? Friends are still there. They stand by, they stick by you. Okay, so that's the friends, allies. So these are the ones you associate with, connect with, or touch through your 12-3-1s and who friends. So they're not you close in a circle, but they're allies. They're ones that you'd fight with on behalf and stand out. You think about in like around the world, different countries are allies to different countries. Who are the advocates? Who's a person who speaks or writes in support or defense of a person, of course? Who are the ones that, I had this funny situation one day. I was speaking at a function and this lady gets up and calls me a liar from the audience. I don't know whether any of you have had that happen. She just went hammer and tongs at me. You're a liar. You're a liar. It's not fun that. Oh, dear me. But I had a friend who got up and said, you know what? He's not. This and just shut her up totally. And I thought, we need advocates like that. Who acquaintances? Who's a knowledge of a person acquired by a relationship less intimate than a friendship? The person who solved my problem today, she was an acquaintance. Someone I've known. She's been to an event. We've talked a couple of times, but yeah, it says there. So who are the acquaintances in your life? Who are your fans? Who are those enthusiastic devotees, followers, or admirers of you? So they're the ones who maybe, we did that. We've been earlier this year. We did these daily powerful prayer strategies things, and I've been surprised at actually how many people watch them. And when I've been going out and talking to people, they've been there and they've been telling me. Actually, it's really brought home to me. Actually, the fact that we actually don't know the impact that we have on other people's lives, and I just think it's particularly sad when people commit suicide that they don't get the opportunity to see what the impact their life had on so many others. I'm only just scratching the surface here, and it's almost numbing. There's so much more. I would like to get through and do some exercises with you on each of these areas to actually break down. So let's quickly go back through these ones. And my computer's a bit slow. So we're going to again who are your who friends? Who are the ones who are in your inner circle? And you start to think about this. Who are in your inner circle? Who are the ones that are just outside that? Who are your allies? Who are your advocates? Who are your acquaintances? And who are your fans? Tonight, think about that. So what are we going to do here? So over the next 4 weeks, we're going to go much deeper into all this. We're going to actually unpack it. I've got a number of worksheets and things for you to work through. So we're going to go into all the 140 strategies in a really deep detail. We're going to really work through who your friends are and put a strategy in place to build relationship with them. So some of you actually don't know how to build relationship, and I'm not having a go at you for that, because one of the things that I've had to do in one of the colleges I used to teach at, we had a subject called networking. I actually physically had to take people to a networking event, and they had to step out by the end of that night with 10 business cards in their hands. And for some of them, it just so terrified them. But it was about giving them strategies and giving them words to say to do that. What really worried me was the next day when I got back to class, one of them actually went home with someone during the night. It wasn't a sexual relationship, but I was thinking, but it just shows you that actually when you step out, the relationships that can unfold from that is quite amazing. And I think I said this in one of the emails or one of the promotions for this thing. So many of us are asking for the answer to problems that we're facing. But I've always found that somebody else knows the answer to the problem you're facing, but we're too afraid to step out and ask that person for what it is. So who knows that the next person you're sitting on the bus to tomorrow, on the train, or wherever, in a coffee shop. I remember one of our friends who was he'd written a book, and he actually took that book and went straight into the middle of Toowong shopping center and handed the book to someone. Turned out that someone was person exactly needed that book, and opened up into a sale. You don't know what's going to happen. So we're going to talk about some of that stuff. We're going to take you through an exercise bringing clarity to your vision. We're going to consider issues such as who are you, what's my destiny, what makes me full of joy and peace, who or what or who stresses me out, how do I do more of the things that give me joy and less of the things that stresses me out, how will I develop a plan to remember, reach out and reconnect with significant people in my life. And that's it comes back to those 3 R's. We've got to remember, some of you are so bunkered down that you've cut off people. And some of it, I've seen it happen with people. Something's happened, you've lost a job, or something's happened, or particularly if you've been made redundant or things like that, or even we went through a situation recently of changing churches, the difficulties and things with that, or leaving a club or whatever in doing that. But it's about stepping out, stop bunkering down. And that's really a message for some people tonight, stop bunkering down. So how do we develop that plan? We're going to put a communication chart in place. How do we communicate with people? I'm going to challenge you to dream again and look at what you love, how to avoid the detours, the pitfalls, the unexpected twists and heartaches. So this is the plan. So this is part of, some of you see that we started last month, and I'm going to move forward with this. We're going to call this the Business Blessings Academy, where each month I'm going to do a particular focus on something. I'm going to do a series of webinars on them. So this month, every Wednesday night, over the next 4 Wednesday nights, we've got five nights in the month, and I think we're going to need every one of those to work through this strategy. We're going to give you worksheets to complete and homework to do, and you've even got one more homework assignment for you tonight, apart from all those things of making a list of friends. So yes, there is going to cost to it. So it's going to be $197 for the 4 weeks. However, if you registered tonight, actually, probably I'll give you to Sunday on this. We're going to say it's $147 for the 4 weeks, which is only $36.75 a week. So it's a small investment to pay. One of the things, why am I charging for this? Because I know jolly well that unless I charge for something, you won't turn up and you won't do it. And it's just, unless you've got skin in the game, you won't do it. I've learned this lesson well. The number of times I've given people a free book and come back. In fact, even once I found the book turn up into a second-hand shop that I went in, because I'm always going to the bookshops, the second-hand shop, and this book turned up, and I saw whose name was in. I thought, heaven's sakes, they didn't even read this book. They just gave it away. So that's one of the things. So it's $147 for the month. But to join up, you go to businessblessings.com.au and go under services. We've still got our breakthrough to success on our main page, because we've got our final retreat, 1 day intensive success intensive this week. And I want to encourage you that if it's still open to join that program, because the 4 webinars that we did with one on breaking spiritual blockages, we did an amazing thing on personal responsibility and the questions that we need to change, how we need to ask questions needs to change. So we did this webinar with Bob Bodine. I tell you, just on the power of the 2 chairs, I sat down at the end of that and just wept for half an hour. It's just the power of God just went over me. And then last week we did heart-to-heart communication. We talked about life languages, and can I tell you, right halfway through the webinar, something clicked and just unlocked in my marriage. I think, heck, I've been asking my wife the wrong questions. I've been doing something. After 22 years of marriage, something just clicked. So I don't know whether anyone else got anything out of the Breakthrough to Success month, but let me tell you, I did. So all those recordings and things are available, and the gifts, things that there's a lot of bonuses and things for that. So that's all on businessblessings.com.au. So check that out while you're there. But for this, go to services. So you can go on, and there's a link right down the bottom of that page to click that. I'll also send the link out to you in an email with that as well. Okay, I'm gonna ask you to do a homework thing tonight, because as you've gone through this tonight, I think God's probably highlighted to you one person that you really need to connect with in a deeper way. One of the ways that I do that is through an app called Send Out Cards, where we literally send a card out to someone. So you can either go to sendoutcards.com/101836, and the code to enter is 101836. This is going to cost you $1 plus postage to do, and that's the US dollar. So $2-3 max. So I'm going to show you the other alternative is you can download the app either on Google Play or Apple App Store. So I put this little short video together. So this is how it works to do this, and I really want to encourage you to do this. The card, this is a physical card, and you'll show how to do it. This is going to take a couple of minutes to watch, and it's me. So here we go. Take a look at this.
Everyone, it's Wesley here. I want to show you an app that I use to send out cards to people. It's called Send Out Cards, literally. So you can download it on your iPhone or Android from Google Play or the Apple Store. You can also download it for your tablets. So if I go, I want to show you how quickly and easy it is to send a card. So I'm going to send a card tonight to my grandmother. She turns 99 very soon. So I'm going to send her a photo card. We're going to send a portrait. You can choose portrait or landscape there. And we're going to hit the little thing up in the right-hand corner that says create card. So I'm going to choose a photo for the front of my card. So there's a photo of my grandmother. It says uploading the image. We're going to select that and put it in. On the inside left, I'm going to actually, you can write text. You can see it comes up with a text editor. Or I'm going to add another photo. I'm going to add a photo of our family here. So I'm going to drag an image. I'm going to add photo. So this is a photo of the Leak clan, which is just uploading, and you can see I can move it over slightly and put that in. Okay, on the inside right, I'm going to write a message. And let's see. Dear Nana, happy 99th birthday. You are the best grandmother in the whole wide world. Looking forward to celebrating your birthday with you, and also to your 100th birthday. Okay, lots of love. Don't you love the spell check? Okay, so where's Pam, Johanna, Bethany, Samuel, and Elijah? Okay. The other thing you can do is you can change the font size, so you can make it bigger, and you can change the color. So I like it to be blue as well. Okay, so done. Actually, that didn't change the color. I think you've got to change the color first. Okay, so there you go. There's a card. So when we're done, we add it to cart. You can see there's a point system there. There's a photo of the card. I'm going to add a gift to it. I want to get a nice one. So one of the gifts that I love to send to people is brownies. So you can see here all the different range of gifts that you can send. I'm going to filter it because I need to choose Australian gifts here. Australia. So these are gifts that come out from Australia. You can see there's all sorts of cookies and things there. And I'm looking for a 2-pack of brownies. So I'm sending that, just quantity 1. And I'm adding that to cart. They're very nice brownies, by the way. Okay, so that's done. And then I can check out. So that's the my address, return address. And I can look at my contacts and find my grandmother's name. Hopefully she's in. Nana Reynolds. There we go. Done. Add. There's her address. Done. Okay, continue to check out. You can see it's due to ship the next day, which is tomorrow. Continue to check out. There you go. So it's adding the cost of postage, $8.45. I submit the payment for it, and done. And that's how simple it is to send a card using Send Out Cards. That card will now be printed and added to the gift and sent to her. So if you want to download it, there's a code to use to access it. It's 101836. That's 101836.
Okay, guys, so just coming back now. So there you go. I want to encourage you, I use Send Out Cards quite effectively in actually connecting with a lot of people in doing that. It's opened some amazing doors, and it's a great networking tool. Well, we've covered an awful lot tonight, and I've gone over time. So just want to check if there's any questions for you. If you want to join us, I'll be sending out the recording of this to you. It's up on Facebook as well on my Facebook page if you want to check that. So again, to join us for a month of networking, go to businessblessings.com.au/services, and you'll see the list of that and the link to join us tonight. Well, thank you. It'd be great to get some feedback from you if you've anything you've got questions about, or you've learned, or has really helped you. That would be great and fantastic. Well, apart from that, I think we're done. So bless you. May God, may the peace and power and presence of God just rest upon you always. And I pray that as we work together over this next month, that we would see amazing networking doors open for you, that the problems that you're facing, you will find the answer to them. Amen. We'll talk to you again soon.